What did you have to unlearn from past Morgan to become present Morgan?
I gotta stop being ghetto. I'm from East St. Louis, man, Kansas City, Missouri. Like, I'm from the hood. Like, all my family, my siblings, we all from the hood.
Morgan, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man. I had to stop being a victim. Right? I had to stop saying people were doing this system and this was doing this to me, because I come from a marginalized community, right? And so the easiest way is to blame somebody else. Most people come back from Africa, from war. And, when I was in Afghanistan, when I came back, people are coming back with PTSD. What I was told and what I was taught is about post-traumatic growth. I take my trauma and let it be a catalyst to propel me forward. I made a choice that I didn't want to live the way other people lived and say, this is what's happening to me, and started to make the things I needed in my life to make them happen.
What do you think is the biggest lie that most people believe when it comes to discipline?
The first thing I learned in the Marine Corps is what we call the definition of discipline at that time. Instant willingness, obedience to orders, self-reliance, and teamwork. You need to do the thing now and not think about it, like execution. It's not about, like, let's wait, let's see what's going on. The discipline sets you up for success, because most people buckle when it gets hard. Most people run away when it gets hard.
We have mics, camera, internet, one message for anybody that watches this. What would that be?
You are who you choose to be. And the moment you stop procrastinating on the direction you want to go, you'll move forward. And when you move forward, you accomplish great things. And when you accomplish great things, you'll be where you're meant to be.
Real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, drop a comment, subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, leave us a review. It'll help us out big time, and it'll let us know that you guys actually like what we're putting out. All right, let's jump right in. Morgan, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, man.
Dude, I remember when you first joined Augusta. I remember seeing the videos that you would make at first, be like, yo, what's up, Augusta? How's everyone doing? And I was like, man, this is kind of cool, because it kind of brings the energy up, especially like early in the morning.
Right.
I was just wondering, like, where after I saw that video, I went to your profile a little digging.
Gotcha.
See that you call yourself like the people's coach.
They call me the people coach. I don't even call myself.
Oh, they call me the people's coach.
I didn't name myself that. That's not something I did. Yeah.
My fault. They call you the people's coach. What is that about? What is it that you do that you coach people on?
So I coach endurance sports and, triathletes, ultra athletes, and I do those sports as well myself. But what I really do is really get in touch with, the people themselves. And so I'm always getting to know people, brighten somebody's day. And it really blew up during COVID. And then people said, man, you're like the people's coach. And it just stuck. And so one of my mentors told me a long time ago, he said, if you do it for the people, everything else will work itself out. And so I really focus on, bringing light to people's lives, being the brighten in the community, being the mayor of my town. And that's where the people's coach was born. And guess what? The more people you know, the more things you can control, the more lives you can change, and the more successful you feel or are.
Interesting. And now, after being named the people's coach, by the end of this podcast, if someone only heard one thing from you today, what would that be?
Always keep moving forward, right? And the quickest answer that you're looking for is within yourself. Don't feel that you have to go to find it. Everybody's always like, I'm looking for success. I'm trying to find the balance. They're always looking outside of where it already is. And I always tell people that I work with, even my athletes or my life coach clients, is like, I'm not giving you anything you don't already possess. Like, what you have is within you, but no one looks there first. They want to put it on the outside. Like, it's them, instead of this, it's me. What can I do to move forward? And so I say, look within first, be very introspective when you're doing things, and it'll change the way you look at the world.
I think that's one problem that most people actually have, is they look exterior for personal success, as they look at how other people are trying to do it. And it just doesn't always work, because you're not the same person as they are.
Yeah, I was just talking about Mike, my business partner, Mike, right? And I was telling him how, like, most people can't handle the weight. Everybody wants to be, hey, Mike Andes or something like that. But if you put a normal person in that spot, they couldn't handle the load because the responsibility and the things that he possesses is what he can handle, and that's what his capacity is. Right. And people, that's hard for it's almost tell like somebody like you're inadequate, but that's not what they're saying. It's like you haven't built up the structure within your life to be able to handle that type of capacity. And most people just don't want to do the work. They want the easy way out. They want to make the money tomorrow and instead of saying like, you know what, I'm going to put my head down and just be disciplined and do the things that I don't want to do to have the things other people don't have.
What do you think separates those people that have the capacity to do it versus the ones that don't?
That's a good question. Okay. So I'm going to repeat it. So what separates from the people that have the capacity to do it in comparison to the people that don't have the capacity to do it? Well, if you look at somebody that is like, I call it usually high functioning, right? And they are able to hold more, they usually have more life experiences, right? And so the more you do hard things, the more you can handle hard things. And more hard things don't become not as hard. But the people that don't possess it are usually trying to get it given to them, not knowing that they need to go through it to grow through it, right? They have to like actually put in a situation and build the resilience needed to handle the pressure. You know what I mean? And so there's a quote that they use to say, "No pressure, no diamond." Like if you're gonna do something, you got to do it differently, because if the diamond is the most rarest mineral in the world and it needs pressure to be as beautiful as it is, what makes you think that you're going to be different? But most people can't handle the pressure; they don't want it, and it's just temporary within them, so it's not sustained.
That's interesting.
What pain do you understand that most coaches don't?
What pain? Okay, it doesn't matter what type of pain.
Doesn't matter what type of pain.
Emotional, right? Everything you go through. Let's just talk. We all do lawn care, right? And so the biggest we talked about it today on the plane was. People don't understand that to hire and to train, you have to be a different person. You think you can go out and I won't say other people, because I thought this too. I thought I could just do a thing and the thing would happen, right? I'm just gonna go hire somebody and they're gonna be the best person and they're gonna be close to me. And guess what? That never happens, right? Never happens. But what changed is when you realize that you are the filter, and what goes into you and what comes through you is decided by you. And so if you want clean water, you're not going to use a dirty filter, right? Are you going to use a specific filter? And what does that look like? And so I believe that like a lot of people don't do the inner work. And it's what it comes down to, right? I know Mike Andes has talked about the connection between like home and work and success. Well, that's very, very important. And when people realize that, that's when the growth starts to happen, right? And so I'm looking at meeting the person, the person I'm coaching, where they are, not where I think they should be. Okay. Yeah.
And understanding that, so you said the pain. You said that pain that most coaches don't understand is the emotional pain. There's different drivers that people have, right? There's either trauma that they've had, there's revenge that people might have depending on their life circumstances. How can someone get any emotional pain that they've had throughout their life and use it as fuel to not only be successful outwardly, but most importantly, inwardly? Understand
it. You can't, just like anything, you can't, in business, you can't change the business if you don't understand the business. You can't make more money if you don't understand the numbers. And if you don't understand the P&L, you can't understand the numbers, right? And if you don't know what is going on, you can't create something new or better, right? And so to get to that point, you have to be able to have the intestinal fortitude or the courage or bravery, right, to look within for that and say like, okay, I'm lacking something, and that doesn't make it bad. That just makes that reality. And this is what I'm going to do to be better at it. I need to make a decision or decide to be more than I was and not be happy and content or complacent in the place that I am. So I think it's really focusing on who you are in every sense. Like all these different things that even the questions that we've talked about, so far is like there's a big part that we all miss in life. And life can be better when you choose to be a better person. Life can be better when you choose to be a better human. Life can be better when you choose better humans around you, right? And so that all comes from an emotional root that's deeper within that most of us don't even understand. So we come with these problems and we wonder why life is a certain way. Well, when you're dealing with issues or you're dealing with sickness, they want to know what the root of it is, not what the symptoms of it is. You know what I mean? So look at it. We say, oh, we got seasonitis, so we having a bad off season. Well, what are you not doing? Are you not advertising? Or do you just, like we did, we just say, oh, it's October. Guess we done until April, and then complain about like what we don't have, but what are we doing to change it? And so if you don't look at the obvious thing, and most people don't know to do that, right? And the harder part about that is most people don't understand how powerful it is because no one teaches you, hey man, I want you to like look within yourself. Everybody says be better, be more, do this, do that. So everybody's a human doing instead of being humans being present in their lives, being present in their souls to move forward.
The one thing that I heard in that was the people around you. I'm a big believer about having people around you that would keep you either in a better place or have good environment. One thing that I went through in high school was trying to pick between different friend groups, right?
Right.
And a lot of people, I think, go through that. And I think that, road that you get to when you have to split is very determining on how a majority of your life will go until you decide to change that. And I think I was just blessed by choosing a good friend group. I mean, we're still good. We still work jobs, have families now. Like, no one's doing drugs. And then the other friend group that I watched go down the other path was just, they've tearing themselves apart,
Right.
Not where they want to be.
Hey, real quick, if you're still watching or listening, congratulations. You don't have the attention span of a goldfish. And it also seems like you like what you're listening or watching. So why not subscribe, leave a comment, like, or if you're in a podcast platform, leave us a review. It helps us out more than you think. All right, let's get back into it.
I've had the same, like, that's part of my life story. Like, if I would have never left home, I'd have been around the same people that I probably wouldn't, let me change that. I would not be hanging around today because they're not bringing any value to me. Right. They're not moving in the direction that I want to move in. They're stagnant or in reverse or stuck. Neither one I want to be associated with. I want to move forward. I want to have consistent success. I want to execute. And so I can have the things that I want for my family and for myself. And I also want to make sure that I think Brene Brown says this, I want to be around people that are in the same arena that I am, fighting the same fight.
Yeah. And in that perspective of back then having to switch between your environments or people, everything that you're consuming, what did you have to unlearn from past Morgan to become present Morgan?
I gotta stop being ghetto. I'm from East St. Louis, man, Kansas City, Missouri. Like, I'm from the hood. Like, all my family, my siblings, we all from the hood. 4 brothers. Four brothers. One, got killed. And I'm the only one that's graduated high school. The girls have graduated, 3 girls, right? And so I had to stop being a victim. Right, I had to stop saying people were doing this system and this was doing this to me because I come from a marginalized community, right? And so the easiest way is to blame somebody else. But what I stopped doing is stop blaming, and I took it into my own hands. And one of the biggest growth pieces that I had, and I'm actually going to talk about that this weekend, is when you look at most people come back from war, and when I was in Afghanistan, when I came back. People are coming back with PTSD, post-traumatic stress, right? They call it it's post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD within. They took out the D. Well, what I was told and what I was taught is about post-traumatic growth. I take my trauma and let it be a catalyst to propel me forward. I made a choice that I didn't want to live the way other people lived and say, this is what's happening to me, and started to make the things I needed in my life to make them happen.
That's crazy. Talk to me a little bit more about that that military history from where you started to pretty much where you are at now. Because I know that the military either brings out the best in you or brings out the
It
worst.
brought out a whole lot of things in me. It's the Marine Corps, baby. Like, hell, death, and destruction. Every moment I live is an additional threat upon your life. Like, that's the type of things we learn. I don't think that way anymore. I want to make sure it's clear. Cut grass and I help people grow. But like, it's indoctrination, right? And so the military gave me discipline. I do things when I don't want to do them. I can do hard things when other people quit. I can do things that most people deem impossible because I make a choice to move forward. And it also gave me the ability to be organized and appreciate the small things, because the Marine Corps always talks about doing more with less.
Yep.
And people, one of the things I had the biggest issue with when I actually came back from deployment was people not lack of appreciation for the things that they had. What's that saying? They say many gave some gave all. Right? That means many were there. I gave you a part of me, but like some gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives, and that's not lost to me, right? And I use that to push me forward in everything that I do, and make the choices based off the people that are no longer able to make those choices because they sacrificed their lives so I could be here having this conversation with you, owning a franchise in Augusta or changing people's lives. And I made sure I took that experience and made something positive with it, right? And the Marine Corps is not a fun place all the time. Like your brotherhood and there's exciting things. You get to blow up stuff, you get to shoot stuff, you get to go cool places, right? But there's also a part of it where people, like, I always tell it, people like, oh, dude, that stuff happens in the Marine Corps. Marines are still human. Right. And humans have emotions. Humans need compassion. Humans need empathy. Humans need joy. Humans experience sadness. And sometimes when you are in the Marine Corps, you get jaded by that. Right. And so you leave, and when nobody's giving you all those things, or they're not being created within your environment, you get to a place where you don't know if, what's important to you. But I have people in the Marine Corps that tell me, like, don't take this stuff too seriously. Make sure you're doing the things that bring you value, no matter if it's today or tomorrow. And so it's like the biggest value I got out of the Marine Corps is the people that I met along the way that gave me the tools to put in my toolbox so I could be successful.
You talked a little bit about the different qualities that you learn in the Marine Corps, whether it's leadership, compassion, discipline. I want to zoom in a little bit on discipline because it's a pretty misused term sometimes. What do you think is the biggest lie that most people believe when it comes to discipline?
Well, I start with the first thing I learned in the Marine Corps is what we call the definition of discipline at that time: instant willingness, obedience to orders, self-reliance, and teamwork. Right? It's like instant willingness is like you need to do the thing now and not think about it. Like execution. It's not about like, let's wait, let's see what's going on. But I said the instant willingness, obedience to orders, right? And so when it's obedience, like people think about, oh, you're telling me what to do. It's no, you're listening to yourself. What decisions are you making that you're not moving forward on, right? And so disciplines is literally doing hard things when you don't want to do them, right? Standing in a position of attention for hours, rushing into a building, whatever it looks like. But the discipline sets you up for success because most people buckle when it gets hard. Most people run away when it gets hard. Like literally in the military alone, the discipline comes for us doing things that other countries will not put their other people through. That's what training is. Right? Discipline is doing it day in and day out, no matter what the situation, no matter what the weather, and not making excuses. No, most Marines, that's the saying is that if a Marine ain't complaining, he ain't happy. Right? That's discipline. Right? But guess what? They're still getting the job done. They're still America's 911, the strongest fighting force in the world. And so with that being said, our level of discipline that we have to do things when we don't want to do them, I mean, you're unstoppable. There's nothing that can't be accomplished with somebody propelling themselves forward with that type of power.
One of the things that I like to say that kind of goes with what you were saying was when times get hard, the hard get going.
Okay.
So I really like that quote because most people, like you're saying, that buckle under pressure, that's kind of what that quote stands out to me with about. It's like when times do get hard, the only person that gets through it are the ones that go at it.
You got to go through it to grow through it, man. And people just want to be given things, and it's just not what it is, man. It's just like it's structure, it's dedication, it's resilience, it's grit. I mean, I can use a lot of different words to describe what discipline actually is, but it's the ability to do things when you don't want to do them. And like my wife always tells me all the time, is like, well, you like going to work. I said, I do not like working at all. I don't even like running. And so, but you do it every day because there's a necessary outcome that I'm looking for. I know this has to be done to get there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be the one saying that I can't if I won't.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say, not what would you say, how would you diagnose people when it comes to their lack of discipline, whether it becomes like burnout or avoidance or just overall being tired? How would you diagnose those three kinds of people?
Well, I ain't gonna diagnose nobody because I ain't a doctor. We'll hit you with that one, right? But my observation of another human being, right, is like you got to ask them questions, like who are you? Where do you come from? Why do you believe the things you believe? Actually, Marco sent me something the other day, and it talks about trash in, trash out.
Okay.
Right. And it talks about, we always looking for the output of people, but we're not looking for the input of, what made them who they are. Right. And that's a big piece. Like what is feeding you? What is feeding those things? And where do you come from? And so if you want to help someone, if you want to move somebody out of the place that they in and get them to get just a little momentum, right, you have to understand who they are, why they do the things that they do. And you have to talk to them in a way where they understand it, not just because you believe it to be so, right? Because I can't tell you who you are. The expert of you is you, right? I just need to give you the tools to look deeper so you can make the decisions from there. I'm the guide, not the change.
That's understandable. And in the coaching setting, when you're coaching these different athletes, different people, what is that process looking like? Because like you said, you have to get to know the person. You have to know where they're coming from. You have to know why they do the things they do, why they think the things that they think. So in that coaching setting, are you coaching people based on what they're planning to do? Or are you coaching people based on what they are, who they are?
Coaching is like cutting grass. Most customers don't know what the hell they want.
Okay.
Right? They know where they want it. They know where the end result they want, but they don't know what it takes to get there. Our job is to educate. Right? That's what coaches are. My job is to educate it and keep you safe, keep you healthy, and get you the things you want with like minimum failure. Right? Not minimum, not no failure, but like minimum failures, right? And so the key is just like working with people and taking the time to get to know them. I call it a coaching courtship. Right? Like if I'm coaching you, well, I don't know nothing about you.
Yeah.
So I need to be asking. I need to be more curious than judgmental. I need to stop telling you who you are and ask you who you are. Who do you believe you are? Why do you believe that? How long have you believed it? When did you start believing it? Right? And so if you do that with everything else, and I know we talked about sales before, right? It's you need to be curious, not judgmental. So if you use that in any case, you can get to know a person and more about them. Without telling them who they are, because like when you're giving unsolicited advice, where you basically telling a person that you know more than they do, right? And so if you really want to be helpful, be willing to listen, because that is a larger form of communication that most people lack, right? And then ask them the questions and let them teach you about them. Right. And so it's about being curious. I think that's the biggest piece of me being a coach. I'm curious of who you are, how you work, and I genuinely want better, more for you, even if you don't know what you want. Right. And so then as I get to know you, like I tell people, it don't matter if it's life coaching or athletic coaching, because I do both. Right. It doesn't matter what it is. The first 60 to 90 days, you say, well, so how are we going to do it? Well, I don't know who you are. Well, what is your strategy? Like you just asked me, I don't know my strategy, because my strategy with you may not be my strategy with him.
Right.
Like you're not the same person. And for me to assume that you are the same person, guess what? There might be a system to control the data behind it, but the person itself is uncontrollable, right? You are who you are and who you will be until you're not. That's reality, is what is, right? And so it's getting to know each person to the best of your ability, and then you can guide them. Like what we do tests. We do test results for marketing. We're gonna test this, and the better we know, the more we use this one lane of knowledge over and over and over again. We get better at it. And we tweak it and we make it better. We tweak it, like Mike was just talking about the other day about door hangers. How when they first put them out, like nobody wanted them, but then if you put the words here, then it looks. You put the price on it, it's better. You put the QR code, it's great. Then you cross it out with a red X. It has a better conversion. And so you have to go through these iterations in yourself to continuously be a student of who you are. Always have a learning mindset. And when you have the ability to like look and be introspective and like kind of evaluate yourself, man, you can do great things, man. You're running a self-diagnostic.
I kind of think part of that, what you just said, brought up the point of like employees. You have employee mindset and you have owner mindset. I think the difference is the learning mindset versus the stagnant. It's like employees are more stagnant. They clock out, they go home, they want to do whatever they want to do. Employees go home, if they don't know something, they try to research it and look it up, and they kind of learn about it. And like you're saying, doing test samples and stuff. Like that's the difference between employees and owners mindset. And something part of that I wanted to ask you is like, how would you guide a coach that doesn't, or not a coach, sorry, an owner that doesn't know how to separate himself from business and personal life, to kind of turn off that switch to be more involved with his life?
I mean, he has to know who he is. I don't think usually when people are the same, and I would say usually when I am the same or when I was the same, I didn't know that there was even a difference. Mm-hmm. Right? I thought leadership at work was the same thing as leadership at home, instead of leadership in my marriage, when it's not the same. Right? It takes humility. You got to humble yourself real quick. You got to let go of that ego. And when you are high, I call it high functioning, right? When you're used to doing more than normal, and people have gave you accolades, or you said, "Man, I move faster, I get up earlier, I do more work, I do this, you forget that. You forget that you are still human, right? And so you just start doing a thing instead of being again, right? And so when you're doing it, there's no separation for you. So you have to kind of step back and identify what's different. And most people, I say the easiest way is to have a mentor, to have a coach. Some people can look within themselves, but like I've learned to separate the two, but I didn't teach myself, right? I took the time to read, to watch podcasts, listen to podcasts, right? And to understand, why am I moving the way I do? Why am I leading my family? And it's like any business. Do I run a pressure washer company like I run a lawn company? Yeah, there are similarities, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
Right? Because each customer wants something different, and you got to show up for them different. You know, you have the guy over here that's pressure washing, and guess what? You can give them this package deal, but you might not be able to do this same package deal over here. So it really comes down to that.
Mm-hmm. When you're trying to figure out,
hold on, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so like something that I struggled with for a few years was separating myself between the business and my my now wife.
Okay.
Like I was always working all the time. We were laying on the couch watching a movie, and the phone rings. I'm answering, trying to do a quote at 7:30 at night, and now she's pissed off because I just burnt 30 minutes on the phone with somebody.
I've been there. My wife is sitting on the couch right now. I've been there, man. You know, not knowing when to turn off, and it's still hard, right? Because like for me, I deal with a lot of anxiety, and like when my mind is going, I don't feel that pain, right? And so, but what I had to ask myself is, why am I anxious? What am I anxious about? Like, why do I feel the way I feel? And it takes, I mean, it's a life journey. Like I always tell people, it took me 46 years to figure out the things that I know today.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna always get it, but if I was coaching you and you said this was happening to you, the first thing I would ask is like, did you ask her anything? What she want? How it affects her? Because many times we forget that they're a part of our lives, and we start making decisions for them instead of with them.
Yeah, that's the one thing that me and my wife actually did was like, I asked her like, well, what is the issue of it? And she was like, I want quality time with you. And I was like, yeah, but it was just like 30 minutes. And they're like, yeah, the point is that it got separated from quality time to now your business. Now you have to kind of refocus into being on quality time.
So you was because you're thinking like when you make that statement, you say like, it was only 30 minutes. You were focusing on it being time.
Yeah.
Quality time is different than time.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Quality time is you being present, the phone being off in the other room. That's quality time. Right. And so when somebody would say something like that, like you invalidate what they're feeling.
Exactly.
And that's never the direction you want to go in any relationship. And so, and it's hard. It ain't easy. But you have to literally be on a path of growth to want to see it. Like in religion, in life, in work, and whatever it is. Like if you want to grow at something, you have to be intentional every moment of your life to continue growing. I eat, sleep, drink, business. Right.
Yep.
And that's why I get better at it. Same thing with my personal growth. Same thing with my relationship with my wife. I'm always learning every day. I learned something last week. I learned something today about myself. And so it's always been having that, beginner's mindset is like, I'm not too far ahead where I can't learn something new. And the moment you start thinking that's the moment you just lost.
Mm-hmm. I think part of that also comes from just like doom scrolling is like personal
doom scrolling.
Yeah,
I never heard it put that way, but okay.
Yeah, the difference between like I guess us and some of people who are more of the employee mindset is like when I listen to a podcast, it's not something goofy or fun. It's usually something about business, something about personal, something about religion.
Right.
And then
that's your focus.
Yeah. And then after that podcast, I think about what that podcast was saying and I try to enroll it into my life or see how it would work in my life. I think most people just listen to it for content, period, and then they go back to listening to a different piece of content.
People are doing this; they're doing a thing.
Yep.
They're humans doing, not humans being.
Yep.
Right, and that's a hard focus. That's a hard switch, man, because no one is saying having this conversation is like, let me teach you how to be a human being. Because in most sense, if you look at it, we are taught how to be humans doing. Do the thing, get the thing. That's the rat race, right? Work hard, buy a car, work hard, get better credit, buy a house, work hard, so you can get a retirement, right? You're doing a thing, but who are you? What are you being? And it's usually when the thing that you're doing is no longer serves you, when you start you ask yourself, what's hold on. Am I missing something? And then what a lot of people call it is midlife crisis, right? Because you're trying to figure out why you are unhappy with the thing that you were told to always do. Let's do this.
It's kind of like the live to work versus work to live. It's kind of getting yourself out of that mindset.
That is, yeah. And then like people with like on dietary things, like they're not eating for substance, they're eating for joy.
Yeah.
Like, they're just doing a thing. And like, it's hard, man. Like none of these things are easy, because if it was, we wouldn't be having conversations about it. And it's taking the time to understand that we are flawed, right? And that doesn't make it bad. It just makes us different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And so when you realize that and you stop beating yourself up for being somebody that, you're not the person that you think you should be based on what you saw, heard, or read, and you accept yourself, that's when the growth starts to happen. Like, because you start to like realize that like I am the captain of my ship. Like I decide where I go, and everybody's going to move at a different pace. You just have to actually move forward. Don't confuse momentum with movement. Right. And so if we're moving forward, we're leaving the same place. We're not just spinning our wheels, and we're actually growing, and we see the growth. That's the direction you should be going. If you're spinning your wheels, you're missing all this. You're just going through the motions over and over and over again. And it just doesn't lend to a successful life. You're not fulfilled. You're doing the thing again, right? And every time you do a thing, it might feel good temporarily, but you're not going to want to do it. It's not sustainable, because it's not how we're wired.
Yeah. That's interesting. I'm stuck on the humans doing versus humans being.
Yeah.
I think that's well, I haven't heard that before.
Okay.
And it's making me think a lot of like personally, what am I actually doing? Because I have a huge struggle when it comes to appreciating little things, appreciating moments that I have with people, because I'm constantly thinking of things that are going on. going on in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're coaching someone in life to stay more present, what is some of that advice that you'd give them?
You're gonna cut the fat, just like anything, right? If you're just more and better, you know, more and better. Like you do the things that you're doing well, and stop doing the things that you don't need to be doing, right? We get bogged down by trying to do too much. Yep. You know, I many times I get some clients that are like, oh yeah, I'm reading this book. I said, why don't you read the one? Perfect that before you move forward, right? We think we need to be like we get stuck in doing too many of the wrong things instead of doing a whole lot of the right thing, right? And I heard a thing the other day that says you know what your gift is because it's the one thing that comes easy to you that you do better than everybody else. How many people doing that? Are you doing it now? Am I doing it? Right? It took me a long time to figure that out. I know coaching is what I want to do. I want to do it in Augusta. I want to do it in life. Like, you know, everything else is just the mirror. It's the path to get to where I want to go. I like helping people. That's why I talk to you. That's why people know who I am in Augusta. Because I ain't Mike Andes. I didn't start the dang on thing. It's because I want to help people be better. That's one reason I joined Augusta is because everyone in Augusta wanted that exact same thing. We're always helping each other out. Like I've never been not even in the Marine Corps because that's a whole different like doctrination and mission. But like I went to the conference and I was like, man, like everybody helped me. I didn't know anyone, but I didn't feel alone. Right? Because in that moment they were present. They weren't just doing something, they were present. So I felt how important that stuff was to them. And that's what made me say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that, 15, 20 G's, which was hard as hell, but it needs to be done, right?
It hurts a little bit, but
I think that's how me and Ricardo have such a strong bond. Me, Ricardo, and Aiden. Aiden isn't a part of Augusta, but we all met at Landscape Summit, and we were all trying to help each other, and we continued doing that outside of conference. So we would always do FaceTimes, phone calls, try to help each other in whatever areas we can, and it just created a bond. Like we all just like being around each other, all the time.
I've been trying to talk to everybody I can. My goal is to talk to everybody that is with a part of Augusta. Everyone. I've been on so many phone calls and so many conversations. Some people I talked to once, some people I talked to 1,000 times. So I just went hiking with Travis, right? Just like, hey, let's meet up. I ain't never seen him before. We ain't never met before. We met on a phone call, but that's about it. And so that's a big piece of like, really changing, and really you have to let people in. You have to be willing to be brought in too. Yeah.
We'll do a little bit of rapid fire questions because I know we're a little short on time.
Okay.
After people spend some time with you and you get a chance to talk to people, what is it that you want them to take away from that conversation?
There are no limits. Only the limits that you set upon yourself. Is that rapid fire enough for you?
That is straight to the point, exactly. What lessons would you say that you learned late into your journey that now you're trying to portray or teach people?
It ain't nobody else's fault but my own.
Exactly.
How can people learn that self-accountability is the most important thing?
Start taking accountability. Start when the moment you blame somebody else, the moment you point the finger, know there's 3 fingers pointing right back at you. Right? If you're saying it's someone else, if you're saying I can't hire, we can't find good people, well, maybe you're not a good person. The filter is you.
When in an interview setting, whether you're trying to get to know a person, whether it's professionally, personally, romantically, what are some of those questions that could really open up that person?
Well, romantically, the only person I'm getting to know is my wife. So you try to throw that thing in there on me. I'm not biting that one, right? We're not doing that, right? So I'll ask the question. Okay, ask the question one more time.
In an interview setting, right? Conversational. Whatever.
Got you.
If you're trying to get to know a person, you're trying to get them to open up to you, tell you about their story, tell you who they are, what are some of the questions that you're asking?
Why? That's it. And we did this on the other call. Like I kept asking, I was like, why?
Why?
And you just thought, you paused. Because no one asked you. Right? And so you're like, why do you ask me that? We'll do it right here. Why did you ask me that?
Because I want to be better at getting people to open up.
Why is that important to you?
Because, like, we've been talking about this whole time, getting to know who the person is rather than what the person is probably where the meat and potatoes are.
Why does it matter who they are?
Because when you realize who they are, it tells you a lot about maybe themselves.
Why are you questioning yourself? You said maybe. Are you not sure about what you're asking?
No, it's not that.
The deeper we get, the harder it is for you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to understand the root of why you're asking the question.
Okay.
And because if you're just being surface level, they're going to give you surface level answers. If I ask you, how's your day going? You're going to say good.
Why?
Why? Why is it good? Right? And so it's the ability to dig deeper. And so it's asking the right questions. And if you ask why and you frame it the correct way, you can get them to give you more. Because we're so used to being transactional when we walk through life. And when I ask you to be more than transactional, be emotional, be present, be a human being, not a human doing, you don't know how to do that. So we need to flex that muscle.
Seems like we need to get to the gym. The internal gym.
Yep.
If you had to give someone one single step that they can start to take tonight in order to either become a better person, a better owner, a better boss, partner, what would that be?
I think it's doing the thing that is the hardest for you to do. Right. I'll speak from a personal, vulnerable spot. When it comes to me in my life, with my marriage, with my family, I thought I had it figured out. Right. And when somebody tell me you need to be better, when somebody's telling you need to be better at something that you already think you're good at, that's a problem. And so know that the people around you probably know a part of you that you don't see. So learn how to listen.
That takes a lot of humility, though. And
1,000%.
Yeah. I've been there. It's a huge struggle.
Yeah.
One single question that people should be asking themselves now in order to figure out that part that they're missing or that thing that would be the next unlock, what do you think that question would be?
Am I truly happy at where I am today?
Why does that matter?
Good one. I see you learn fast, right? It matters is because sometimes we start doing things, right? And we're not doing things that make us happy. Like why do I want to be in the place that I am? Why do I want to have the things that I want to have? Why? It matters because if you don't understand the reason, you can't control the outcome. Right. And so as you understand things more, you're able to guide it in a direction that is beneficial to you. And that's the key. Right. And so we're not asking ourselves, why? And you don't got to do it to another person. You can do it to yourself. It's like, okay, I want to, have $1 million in revenue, but why? Is that what you really want? And I realized, like, for me, I don't need $1 million in revenue. I just need to make $10,000 a month free and clear of taxes. Right? That's my thing, right? But until I started asking my question, like, why are you doing this company? Why do you want to run this company? Why are you building it? You don't understand what you're doing. You're just doing a thing. And it feels so chaotic in your brain when you have no direction and have no purpose.
I think one thing I'm going to take away from this interview is the why. I think something that people could do today to kind of help guide themselves if they aren't comfortable talking to somebody would be making a notebook with just why. So like, right, I had a good day today, and then right below it they write why, and then they try to explain why they had a good day. Or like you're saying, why do I want $1 million? Why do I want a company? Why do I want this? And just keep putting why and answering that question until they get to the root cause. Would you think that would be a good practice to start?
Every day.
Yeah, and I think to add on to that, probably not just positive things as in like why success, why this, why that, but like also like, why do I react the way that I do when this happens?
All things.
Why does this trigger me? Why does this make me feel like that? I think that why is a huge thing.
Think about it. Most people, that's what you go to therapists for.
Yep.
That's all they do is just what I did with you. It's like why? They ask you, why do you feel that way? When did you start feeling like that? They're curious about you because you're not taking the time to get to know yourself, so they have to guide you in the direction so you can get to know you.
Yep.
Do we have 5 minutes?
We do not.
We have final question. We have mics, camera, internet, one message for anybody that watches this, what would that be?
You are who you choose to be. And the moment you stop procrastinating on the direction you want to go, you'll move forward. And when you move forward, you accomplish great things. And when you accomplish great things, you'll be where you're meant to be.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Morgan.
Always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening and for watching. It really does mean the world to us, and we really appreciate every single one of you who sticks around all the way until the end. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review on the podcast platform. It really does help us grow. And until next time, see you guys.